So it was time for us to leave Malaysia and head towards Singapore via bus. So let's go and enjoy the ride. We did have to wake up a bit earlier and get to the hotel where the bus was going to pick us up. But once we got on the bus, it was nice and to relax and actually catch some sleep, because before I did not catch that much sleep. So just before we got to the bridge to Singapore, we stopped off at the Malaysian customs to check out the country and made our way to Singapore immigration, which was a little bit scary because we had to declare some alcohol, which took our time. Because we were so used to the MRTs in the other countries, we thought we'll take our chance and travel around Singapore using their MRT.
We've now made it to Singapore, making our way to the hotel. Not even going to get a chance to even talk in the hotel because it's so paper thin, but I'll give you a tour when we're there.
This pod was absolutely tiny. It was the size of a double bed. It did get quite cramped, so we tried to stay out of it as much as possible. Once we were all checked in and ready to head out, we then decided to head out. We went for quite a long walk and headed towards Marina Bay Sands, is where there is a massive mall and the art centre and the big hotel, the most famous Sky Bar in Singapore. After visiting the mall and just pointless looking around, we made our way to Gardens by the Bay, where the famous super tree groves are, which you could just see in the top. You will just see it we get closer and closer, and they just get more incredible. They do have a light show around 7 p.m, so we did have a couple of hours, so we did wander around to the other gardens where you've got the Chinese gardens, Indian gardens and the silver gardens. It was time to finally see the super tree grove, and again it's just speechless. Unfortunately, we did not go up to the bridge. It was like 12 Singapore dollars to go up, but it would have been totally worth it. So it was time for us to just relax and wait for the light show. So our second day in Singapore, we went to Universal Studios, but that would have made this vlog so much longer. So this is technically the third day of being in Singapore, where we went to the art museum to see an interactive world experience and the Sneakertopia, which is one of their exhibitions that they bring in monthly. This part of the museum intrigued me the most because this certain artwork was going to keep playing over and over again for 100 years. And currently it's on 13. It was time for us to show our creativity skills with drawing on these pieces of paper where we could draw whatever we wanted as long as it was in the lines, and we'll send it over to the scanner, which this whole process is just incredible. And now once it's scanned, it will jump onto the projector and you can see everyone's artwork. There's mine. Becky's will show up later, but this just keeps on going on forever and ever, so who knows how long our artwork is just going to be floating around in this sea. And it was time for round 2, but this is a little bit different. We can make planes or a bird, but it flies over Singapore. So we did a quick design because we didn't want to get too carried away with it like we did with the sea creatures. But with this one, we could actually control the planes that are within this projector. We decided to opt out of it because I feel like we would just get carried away, especially me. But it was just nice to send some artwork into the sky. And just even giving this a try, unfortunately Becky was unable to try it because she wasn't wearing trainers at the time. Now we're coming to the end of this wild experience. This is the Endless Crystal Maze. Now it was time for us to move up to Sneaktopia, which was on the top floor. It just went in a massive circle. But this exhibition was right down my street. They had this massive wall of celebrities and movie characters that were associated with sneakers and their career. I did really enjoy part of this exhibition because they were movie posters inspired by sneakers. This exhibition was not just a place where they had loads of sneakers. That there was a massive sneaker which was made out of trash, which a load of kids came together and built themselves. And there's some of them that didn't make sense. But this exhibition came up this year, so we were very lucky that we came at the right time and we were able to experience this. Now, this is part of the exhibition where they're the most valuable pair of sneakers in the world. And just behind this curtain, they were shoes that were collaborated with Singapore companies and charities. And it was also unique, so you would never find these on any other shoe. Company called Aliveform is where they've tested out 3D printed shoes using rubber filament to try and make a comfortable shoe, which, to be honest, I did not really like the designs, but I'm sure in their perspective it was ergonomical. And then there was a shop which was quite on the expensive side, but there were some things I would have definitely bought. So it was time for us to jump on the MRT, jump on the Travelator, and make our way to the Botanical Gardens. These gardens were massive. It took us about half an hour to an hour to walk from one side to the other. We did get off at the wrong MRT station, but it was a good enough excuse to walk the whole thing. There were signs up just to be careful of otters, but no Komodo dragons or turtles. But unfortunately, we did not see one single otter, which was very disappointing. So after exploring the gardens, seeing the gazebo, we made our way to the gift shop where we got a few trinkets to take home with us. It was time for us to head back onto the MRT, grab some dinner, which was a few things from 7-Eleven, and headed out for the evening for a drink or two. We ventured out to find Singapore's signature merlion. Because this was our last night in this area, we pretty much had to see it and grab some pizza for the way home. It is now time to say goodbye to the Pod Hotel, and let's go on to the next one. Let's get some breakfast first. So after grabbing McDonald's, grabbing our bags from the hostel, we jumped on the MRT once again. Not going to keep showing it, but we made our way to the Esports Hotel. Now this was my choice of hotel, but it did come out quite well because this was going to be our last hotel. It gave us a chance and space to sort our bags out for the flight home. Now, just coming into this space, it was pretty darn awesome. There was 20 battle stations right in front, and I couldn't wait to jump on it and play. Just came out the shower, and we have made it to our final hotel before we move back home. This place is actually really cool, as you saw the computers at the back. Unfortunately, we didn't get one. In the listing, we should have got one, but it doesn't matter. As long as there's ones out there I can play on, it's fine. It's time for us to enjoy the rest of Singapore, around the area, come back, play some games, and go out again for dinner, go back, play some games and go to sleep. This is pretty much the main reason I wanted to do this. This room is amazing. It's better than the Galaxy Pod, to be honest. Yeah. They've got the bed up there, little nook for Becky to sit while I play games. And it's quite small, but it's fine. Let's enjoy our last of our trip. So we found out a few shops around us were only cash, so we had to find an ATM, but we came across this mall where of course there's a load of nerdy stuff, so of course I had to go and see it. There was also an arcade. Unfortunately, the tokens for it was like 10 Singapore dollars for 4 tokens, but then most of the games are 2 to 3 tokens, so it was very expensive. But then we found this crepe place and decided to get some dessert. But it was time for me to jump on and play some games. Now it was time for dinner. Becky surprised me with this place. She didn't tell me anything about it. But once we got there and got our pasta, it was phenomenal. A very good place to eat. But if you're ever in Singapore, give that place a go. It is now time for us to finish our Singapore trip. It has been a wild ride, and it all comes down to this, of us going home. You enjoyed yourself?
Yes.
Yes, so the next vlog you'll see from here is us coming home, and actually no, it'll be a full day at the airport because we've got 12 hours until our flight, so that'll be a whole nother vlog itself. Yeah.
We don't actually have to do 12 hours at the airport. We can just go somewhere else.
Stay here and play some games, eh?
You could. I don't know what I'd be doing though.
Play with me. Play Among Us. But thank you for watching this Singapore adventure, and we shall see you in the next one in Singapore Airport. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.